monster producer is a legendary creature who combines multiple skill sets to dominate their market. Are you ready to dominate?
I believe everybody needs a good coach in life. Running a business can be tough. It can beat you down. We bring the motivation. We bring the structure. We bring the strategy. How do you explain your services? How do you work a selling system? How do you follow up like a machine? How do you extract 5.7 referrals from every transaction? Our number one goal is to get you a 43% increase in your business. And I want to show you how to be a monster producer.
I must confess that I feel like a monster.
Prepare yourself for a 43% increase to your business.
I feel like a monster.
Monster Producer
Ladies and gentlemen,
begins now.
Hey there, I'm Coach Michael Burt, the Super Coach. Every week, really every month, I come to you and break down my biggest concepts I'm teaching in the program, Monster Producer. We believe a monster producer is a legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market. And here at the end of the year, I thought it was only appropriate that I really break down the biggest concepts that I've been teaching in Monster Producer this year, which is going back and basically looking at three of the biggest topics that I think will move the needle in your life and in your business. The first topic we're going to cover today is the concept of confusion. How to eliminate some monster confusion in your business and in your life. And I'm telling you, every time I teach this, it just is so clear to me that we live in a state and world of deep confusion. We live in a state and world of deep confusion. And a confusion is a problem that appears to have no solution to it. It is a complexity in your life or in your business that continues to come up over and over again, and it keeps you up at night, creates an enormous amount of stress, causes the business to not function the way it should function properly. And so the very first thing we're going to cover today is four big confusions that I see every day in people's businesses. Now, December, perfect time in any business to do two things. Redesign the business, right? Redesign the business to fit what you need it to fit, where you love, where it brings you energy, and it's highly profitable. This is exactly what I'm going through right now with my business. I've sat down, I've outlined the biggest confusions in my business, which are problems that appear to have no solution, some complexity we haven't figured out, and I basically stepped back and I said, okay, in December, we're going to redesign this. And we're going to redesign it with some more intentional congruence. What do I love doing? What brings me energy? What's highly profitable? How do I build a team around my true unique abilities? Okay, so when you're thinking about this concept of designing the business, first thing you got to do is you have to identify your top confusion. So let me give you some examples. So I've already gave you the definition. Confusion is a problem that appears to have no solution to it. Think of something in your business that is a complexity. Could be you can't get enough leads. Could be you don't have a good follow-up system. Could be you don't know how to get referrals. Could be you don't know how to market. Could be your website doesn't create leads for you. Could be that you don't understand how to use the ClickFunnels. Could be that you can't build strategic partnerships. Could be that you can't get your staff on board or you're very inefficient. These are all confusions or problems that appear to have no solution. Here's the point. They do have a solution. You just haven't figured it out yet. You probably need the help of another person to go, here's how you should eliminate these three confusions in your business. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to sit down and I want you to write out your top 5 confusions in your business. Top 5 problems. Top 5 things that keep you up at night. Top 5 things that make you cray-cray. Top 5 things that have been a problem for you all year. Some of mine include AR. Some of mine include onboarding. Some of mine include engagement and touches or accountability to people in our coaching program. Some of mine include sales team, growth of the sales team, hidden sales numbers. These are all confusions. So what happens when there's confusion is you have insecurity. We have not knowing. We have vacillation. We have doubt. So what I want to do is I want to eliminate these. All right? That's one definition of confusion. Sit down and write out the top 5 confusions in your business right now, problems that appear to have no solution. Number 2, a confusion could be when too many things are in motion at the same time or there is randomness in motion. And this is a big problem. If you're the leader of any company, all the confusion is created by you, by the way. All the confusion is created by you, because we create confusion when we're not clear on what people are supposed to do, how it's supposed to be done, when people are not trained. So sometimes we create too many things. There's too many things in motion at the same time. So confusion is created when there's not clarity about thought. There's not clarity about action. There's not clarity about these things. So I want you to identify all the things that keep you up at night. If you're in the business of selling to other people, I want you to identify all the things that keep them up at night. And if you could remove these, how valuable do you become? How valuable do you become when you eliminate the confusion of the people you service every day? How valuable are you when you eliminate the problems of the people you serve every day? How valuable are you when you make the noise go away for other people? So there's 4 big confusions I want to show you. 1, a time confusion. Now you're going to call this, I got a time management problem, I'm overwhelmed, I don't have enough time in the day to get everything done. That's a confusion. It's not really a time confusion. It's really a priority confusion. Okay, so we all get 168 hours in a week. We get 86,400 seconds in a day. We get 24 hours in a day. We get 365 days in a year. We all get the same amount of time. Some people, okay, are confused about what the purpose of their business is. Number 1, the business should serve your life, not run your life. Number 2, the purpose of the business is to create a customer. And if it's to create a customer, we should spend a minimum of 20 to 40% of our day doing nothing but generating new money. So when you tell me I'm too busy, I'm like, too busy being what? Fabulous? Too busy not doing what you should be doing, which is generating new money, right? So you don't have a time confusion. You really have a priority confusion. You're confused about what priorities you have. Second big confusion I see is what's called a responsibility confusion, like who's supposed to do what. And when you're not clear in your organization, when you're not clear with your team, with people you work with your vendors, with your supply chain, with your partners, then there's a lot of confusion of responsibility, like who is in charge of what, okay? So that's the second big confusion I see. Third big confusion I see is what's called a next move confusion. Now, here's what I'm talking about. You're here at the end of the year. You've been successful. You've produced at a very high level. You got a good life going. You got a good thing going. You're confused about what your next move should be. Like you know what's out there. You know you're supposed to be doing something bigger. Like you know you're supposed to be doing some philanthropic things. You're supposed to be doing some things with the church. You're supposed to be doing things with your family. But you're confused about what's my next big play. What's my next big play? Like what stages in life do I want to be on? Like what do I want the business to do? What do I want my legacy to be? And I really see this a lot with successful people, typically 40 to 55 years old. They're just confused about their next move. I also see this in 20 to 25-year-olds. They're just confused about how to apply their talents to their work. They're confused about how to go out and do this. They're confused about life and success and relationships, and they're confused about all of these things. And so it's kind of a next move confusion, okay? And then finally, if you're growing and you're an entrepreneur, you got a confusion about your team. Do I need to hire more salespeople? Do I need to hire assistants? Do I need to hire somebody to run the company? Do I need to hire, like who's my next person? Well, here's how to answer that question. Who could move the needle for you significantly in your business? That's the only way to answer this team confusion question, right? Like who can significantly move the needle for you in your business by A, freeing up your time, or by bringing in more revenue, or by retention of more customers, or by marketing and advertising. Like who's the next player you need to really help you perform at a much higher level. You're watching Monster Producer. I'm going to take a short break, and when I come back, I'm going to get into the second big topic of 2018, which is how to remove any hesitation in asking other people for a sale, for help, for business, for anything. How to remove consideration and ask like a freaking monster. You're watching Monster Producer Podcast. This is Coach Michael Burt. This is where I break down the biggest subject I'm coaching in a month in Monster Producer for you. Hey there, I'm Coach Michael Burt, the Super Coach, and I spent a decade of my life as a women's basketball coach studying some of the top coaches in the world, and I still remember as a young kid growing up watching one basketball player dominate. And I used to stay up late at night watching Michael Jordan score 63 points, and it was incredible. And I always looked up to Michael Jordan, one of the greatest players of all time, and I always saw how coachable he was and how he made everybody better. And what I didn't know growing up was that he had an additional coach. Outside of Phil Jackson, he had his own personal strength coach, his own personal mental coach. And he paid this person to coach him and help him get tough and relentless. And as luck would have it, many years later, I would meet that coach. And his name is Tim Grover. He wrote the best-selling book, Relentless. He was Michael Jordan's personal strength coach, personal mindset coach. Not only that, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, some of the best coaches in the world. So Tim Grover and I have partnered to do a retreat. And when I say retreat, 3 days at my lodge in Tennessee, in Christiana, Tennessee, where we're going deep on his relentless system. He's got 13 big principles, and that's March 7th through the 10th. If you want VIP tickets, $3,500. If you want dinner with Tim Grover and stay at the lodge, it's $4,500. You want to spend 3 days with this guy because he's going to activate your prey drive like you cannot imagine. When I'm with him, I'm ready to go. I'm motivated. I'm on fire. I'm hungry. So this is your opportunity, guys. 3 days with me and Tim Grover at my lodge in Tennessee. I got 40 spots for the day passes. I got 6 or 7 spots for the VIPs. So this is time for you to step in and be relentless. All right, welcome back to Monster Producer. This is where I break down the biggest concepts every month in my big coaching program, Monster Producer. Just did a fascinating interview with Tim Grover, who wrote the book Relentless. Tim is becoming a good friend and incredible person, personal coach to Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, some of the top athletes in the world, created the Relentless system. He and I are doing a retreat, and that retreat is March 7th through the 10th in Christiana, Tennessee, which is the new big lodge that I just purchased, that we just purchased in Christiana, 23 acres, beautiful lodge. We're building a training room. We're adding more bedrooms. Go to CoachBurt.com retreats or download the Monster Producer app and look at all the retreats where it says Retreat with Coach Burt. You got to go to this, man. You got to go spend time with big-time people in a 3-day intimate setting. You got to take the time to do this because you're going to walk away totally relentless. Look at all the retreats we're doing. My wife and I are doing a retreat. Looks like we got 3 spots left on the cruise. They just informed me of today. If you want to cruise with me in January, okay, down to I don't know where we're cruising to. I know maybe the Bahamas, maybe something like that. We're cruising out of Miami in January. We're doing Living with the Monster in February at our beach house in Seaside. We're doing Tim Grover in March. We're doing Tim Story in April. We're doing Kevin Elko in May. We're doing Luke Nessler. So CoachBurt.com retreats. Download the Monster Producer app. Download the Monster Producer app and look and see what we got going on, okay? Today's show brought to you by Hotze Health and Wellness. I talked to Doc Hotze this morning, reading me some of my levels on my blood levels. Got to retreat with Doc Hotze. That's exactly right. In March, retreat with Doc Hotze in Houston, Texas. Double your energy, double your income. We're writing a book on that, by the way. And so if you're out there in the world and you want to join Monster Producer or you want to be part of these, go to CoachBurt.com. I want you. I want to be a part of your life. I believe a good coach can change everything for you. These are some of the topics I'm coaching this month in my big coaching program called Monster Producer, and I like to break it down into 3 segments. First segment I just did was on confusion. This segment is on consideration. Now, I want you to think of a consideration, like in the South, we think of a consideration like I'm trying to be considerate, yes. But I'm not using consideration in that context. I'm using it like this. A consideration is to take something into account, to consider particular opinions or circumstances when making a decision. Here's a consideration. I'll never be the number 1 person. I'll never steal away their business. I'll never make $1 million. I'll never figure this out. I'll never find somebody in life to marry. I'll never do this. These are all considerations that people have. And what you're doing is I want you to think of a consideration as an internal thought, typically an insecurity, that produces, that stops you from taking an external action. It's an internal thought that keeps you from taking an external action. You are considering particular opinions. If you look at Webster, the dictionary is consider particular facts. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I don't think you're considering facts. I think you're considering insecurities. Okay? And so when you consider an insecurity, the reason we have insecurity are rejection, fear of rejection, personal embarrassment, loss, which breeds fear, uncertainty, and the biggest one, the good opinion of other people. So this month in Monster, I've been teaching this concept of self-actualization, which is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When your basic needs are met, you move up the ladder, and you eventually become self-actualized, which is the highest form of actualization. It's when you're reaching your highest form of your God-given potential. And I asked this question in Monster. How many of you have ever been around a self-actualized person? And people are like, oh man, maybe one, maybe two. Our goal should be to get to self-actualization. And when we get to self-actualization, listen, let me tell you one thing we ain't got. We ain't got a fear of rejection. We don't have a fear of personal embarrassment. We don't have a fear of loss. We don't have an uncertainty about us. We don't care about the opinion of the good opinion of other people. Because one of the strongest traits of a person of interest is they are totally independent of the good opinion of others. See, if you got these hesitations, let me tell you what you won't do. You won't pick up the phone and call people to try to make a sale. I would never ask Tim Grover to do a retreat with me because I'd be, well, it's Tim Grover. How could I ever get a retreat with him? I would never get on stage at 10X2. I would never buy an airplane. I would never do any of these things because of hesitations. Okay, what I'm trying to do in my students is remove this hesitation. Remove this hesitation. So, here's what I want you to do. I want you to stop right now, and I want you to write out the top 5 to 10 hesitations you have. Here was one for me. I'll be a good coach, but I'll never be a championship coach. That was a hesitation I had, Jack, for the first 3 or 4 years. Right? Here's a hesitation. If I figured out how to get my coaching business to a $3.5 million business, but can I get it to a $25 million business? Well, if Tony Robbins got it to a $400 million business and Grant Cardone got it to a $40 million business and so, then where's the hesitation? If it's been done by somebody else, guys, you can do it. Okay? It's just a matter of you haven't figured out how to do it, which goes back to the confusion piece. So I want you to take a second right now as we're coming down the home stretch, and I want you to identify your top 3 to 5 considerations that you have. And when I come back from the break, I'm going to get into the final subject today, which is how do you become a person of interest? Well, you got to have 7 important attributes to become a POI, and POI is attract versus chase. I'm Coach Michael Burt. You're watching Monster Producer Podcast. Hey guys, Coach Michael Burt, the Super Coach, and I'm excited about going down to Vero Beach, Florida with my good friend Tim Storey. Tim Storey is a celebrity comeback coach. He's coaching some of the hottest celebrities in the world, and man, he has a deep methodology about him. He has a deep hunger about him. He has a deep wisdom about him. So if you've ever heard me talk about this 3-step process of revelation, first we have revelation, then we have conviction, then we take action. That came from my buddy Tim Storey. So Tim Storey and I have partnered to do a retreat together. Retreat's a 3-day experience, intimate setting, typically no more than 40 to 60 people, getting personal coaching in group settings, one-to-one time, and these have been phenomenal for me. So in April 4th through the 7th, 2019, Tim Storey and I have partnered to go to Vero Beach, Florida to spend 3 days with you. We're going to stay at a great hotel. For the VIP people, we're going to go out on a yacht together. We're going to have all kinds of entertainment. We're doing a party at a private house down there. It's going to be incredible. This is going to be an incredible experience. So go to the Monster Producer app, download the app, go to retreats, click on Retreat with Coach Burt, click on Tim Storey, and grab that day pass. Tim Storey, Coach Burt, Vero Beach, Florida, April 4th through the 7th of 2019. The Bigger Future Retreat. Welcome back to Monster Producer. This is a capsule of what I teach every month in Monster Producer. It in no way substitutes many times for the full teaching of what I teach. As you can see on the Lace commercial, we got Monster Kids that are going now. Chelsea Colbert's doing an incredible job helping us get our kids division up and running. Interactive Online Academy will eventually be a greatness factor for kids' physical place. I already own the land. I'm already in discussions about that. I'm already talking about how do we build an independent school that's a private school that kids can go to learn confidence and bounce back. And let me tell you, Jack, one of the main things they're going to learn at this school is how to become a person of interest. Wouldn't it be nice if your kid learned how to be a person of interest early in life? They didn't have to chase opportunity. They could attract it. They knew how to make themselves more attractive to the market, not in just physical appearance. I mean, that's just one component of being a person of interest is how you dress and how you look and how you show up ready to go. But let me give you the characteristics of people of interest. Incredible knowledge. But I don't want you to think general, specific. Impeccable skills. They know how to deliver. They're able to articulate their knowledge. Desire. I've never met a lazy person of interest, right? Now, Bradley disagrees with me, but you're not going to find many people of interest that are lazy. Effort. They're willing to do the inconvenient. Confidence. Internal knowing that they can create or manifest. That goes back to the consideration, which goes back to eliminating the confusion. Many of them have high likability. Likability is just energy. I almost want to change that now after I wrote the book several years ago. Instead of it saying likability, they got good energy. They got a good energy. You may say, oh, I don't really like that dude, but does his energy make you perform at a higher level? They got great connectivity, and then they got two special traits. They've got deep networks. You see these retreats I'm doing, Tim Grover, Tim Story, Luke Nestler, Kevin Elko, working on one with Sharon Lecter. You see these retreats I'm doing, and you say, well, how is Coach Burt building these deep networks? Number one, hopefully I've got some of these characteristics that I've tried to cultivate it over the last 20 years. Number two, I believe that part of becoming a person of interest is partnering or strategically partnering with other people who are doing monster things in the world. I want to learn from these people. Like, I want to write books about these people. I want to study. I want to get better. So part of being a person of interest is deep networks, like having something valuable that other people want, having the desire to go get it, pray drive, putting the effort in, doing the inconvenient, right, Jack? Having the energy to go do it, okay? And then you got this free prize about you, which is one intangible thing I can't quite get with anybody else. So when you're looking with this free prize, it's like I'm looking at this grid and I'm going, a person of interest has all of these characteristics, and it makes them incredibly attractive to the market. People of interest build organizations of interest. Okay, like you see this Greatness Factory, it's really cool, it's modern, it's industrial, big windows, cool signs, music, open environment. I want to build organizations of interest. Why am I building a new Greatness Factor, which I'm incredibly excited about? Okay, why am I building a Greatness Factor for kids? Part of my legacy, part of my meaning in life, part of my contribution, part of something that will outlive me. These are very important. Why did I start Monster Producer? Why am I trying to create new things in the world, okay? Why am I writing the book Inside the Mind of a Monster? Okay, so why is my wife writing her book, Living with the Monster? Why are we doing retreats? All of this drives up your person of interest score. So if I were coaching you, and I am today, and if you're a Monster Producer, I'm coaching you, you got to go to work on becoming a person of interest. Look at what Tommy Davidson has done with his real estate business, doing 45 deals a year for 7 or 8 years. Now he's doing 125 deals a year. What has he accomplished? Person of interest. What has Tom Love done? Create an explanation of service. Become a person of interest. What has Derek Godwin done? Built a company. Become a person of interest. What are these top players doing? Is they're going out in the market and they're circulating and they're moving and they're, more than anything, and I'll end on this one, they're creating new things. People of interest create interesting things. They get fascinating results. They live fascinating lives. They hang around fascinating people. They typically make fascinating money. They vacation in fascinating places. Like growing up, I always wanted a beach house. I always wanted a lodge. I always wanted a private jet. I always wanted to be able to go impact the world. Okay, now what helps you do these things is your business being successful and trying to attract more people in the door. That's what a Monster Producer is constantly doing, guys. Now let me finish by saying this. If you got a consideration or a hesitation, you'll never be able to do any of these things. If you got a consideration, if you have considered particular opinions or insecurities in your life, right, you'll never be able to do what we're talking about in this month's Monster Producer, which is eliminate confusion, remove consideration, become a person of interest. Guys, every single month I come to you with a new concept. Okay, a Monster Producer, if you're serious about getting in, if you want to try a month, I'll give you a month for free. If you're interested in going on the cruise with me in January, I got 3 spots available. If you're interested in going to retreats or getting coached by me and some of the best people in the world, just email us at info@coachburt.com. I believe everybody needs a coach in life. I believe a Monster Producer is a friggin' legendary creature that combines multiple skill sets to dominate a market. If you're in my online academy, thank you for watching this session. Every month, new content, because what do people of interest do? They create. God bless you guys. Hey guys, I'm Coach Michael Burt, the Super Coach here at the Greatness Factory, but I'm thinking about January the 11th through the 14th, because that's when we're going on a monster cruise. That's right, we're going out of Miami, down to the Bahamas, stopping at one of the islands. We're going to be doing a little bit of coaching, a little bit of networking, a little bit of VIP sessions with some of the monster moguls and tycoons, and I want you to go with me. Many years ago, I started going on cruises, and I kept thinking, how do I marry coaching and inspiration and execution? How do we do some coaching while we're out at sea, and how do we enjoy the islands when we're there? So for the very first time, I'm offering one thing, the Monster Cruise. I'm so excited. January the 11th through the 14th. Price points are real simple. For $3,000, that gets you a VIP pass, balcony, special coaching sessions with me and some of my biggest monster producers, and that gets you everything you need. If you want a room with an ocean view and coaching, but not the VIP session, we can do that for $2,300. January the 11th through the 14th, out of Miami to the Bahamas, 3-night cruise with me and Coach Burt and some of my biggest monster producers. So email me, info@coachburt.com, and let's get your spot reserved.